Welcome to another installment of the Road to Miami Art Week workshops. My name is Rob McCarty. I'm one of the co-founders of Illust and one of the collaborators on Balanced Forces. And today we have a special chat where we're going to have more of like a panel discussion talking to creators in the ecosystem about social media strategies and how they could be able to leverage social media to level up their artwork and their storytelling. Um, Again, this has kind of been a part of a mix here. I'm realizing I have not shared my screen yet, so let's try that again. Um, but yeah, so just a real quick background. So Balanced Forces, this is our third installment. The first one took place over in Port Moody, British Columbia, and that was in collaboration with Art Outside. We then took it to New York for International Peace Day, and then now we're bringing it to Miami for Miami Art Week, and in particular, this venue called Bit Basel, which is on the beach of South Beach at the Sagamore Hotel, yeah, will be taking place from December 4th to December 7th. Where we're doing an open call for artwork and creativity around ocean conservation. So over the last 3 or 4 months that Balance Force has been going, we've generated over 200,000 impressions on social media. We've had thousands of location visits. On average, we've had 12 works seen per visitor and 8 minutes of engagement time. So yeah, we're really excited. Like this whole idea of Balance Forces came about as a collaboration between Crystal, JVR, Sven, and myself. And yeah, if any of your JVR, Crystal, Sven, if you want to say a couple of words before we dive into the chat today, we'd love to have you say something.
I can just say that I'm really excited at how this project has transformed. I mean, it was kind of birthed in Port Moody as part of the multidisciplinary festival that I was the creative director for. And just bringing together this team of Balanced Forces has been so magical because we're from all different parts of the world, from all different experiences, and just even just our art form and people who we know and just how it's expanded so far. I think that it's only getting bigger and we're just always full of ideas. And our little chat is always booming on the side of ideas that we have moving forward. So I think the artists can really look forward to this becoming much bigger than it already is. I'm excited to have everyone here.
Awesome. Thanks, Crystal. Cool. Yeah, GBR, Sven, any parting words before we jump into the
Yeah,
panel?
I'll say something really quick. ABR, and I just want to say that each one of us has our own disciplines, and uh, each one of us attributes something and contributes something that is uh, completely significantly unique to the Balanced Forces team. And I feel as though we couldn't have done this without each other. It's a we thing, it's not a I thing. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this journey and be able to contribute anything that I can do. And I think that what my biggest contribution is to just bring people together and bring communities together. And yeah, that's my superstar attribution. Thanks.
Yeah. And yeah, Sven, any last things to mention?
Hey everybody, my name is Sven, and nice to see you again every week. Yeah, now we are ready to go. I just launched the missing artworks and artists from on our website from Port Moody. Now we got about 71 artists participating in Port Moody and in New York, and now let's go to Miami. It's the next journey, or the next part of our journey, and then it's still honored and still excited how like Crystal and JVI already said, it's how the progress is of our Balanced Forces team, and it's a pleasure always to work with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Sven. Well, yeah. So let's go ahead and kind of shift gears. So real quick, last week, just as a recap, we had LM come in and share with us some of her workflows for generating meshes and generating 3D scenes, and then bringing that into the studio to essentially be able to go from zero to AR experience with with really little. It was pretty light in terms of the amount of time and energy and even education to go into it. So you don't have to be a Blender or Cinema 4D whiz to create something. You can use these tools to generate a mesh and start playing around with it. But today we're going to go into a different topic, which is around, now that we've learned about the studio, we've learned about creating different AR experiences. Now it's about getting these out there into the world and sharing them with communities, with collectors, with people who can kind of level you up as an artist. And so today I'm really excited to bring up to this panel, even though it's digital, it's still kind of a panel vibe, and bringing up, I guess, is kind of not really the right terminology. But on the screen today, we'll have a couple of friends, collaborators, and just folks that I really respect in their ability to communicate and curate audiences and communities. So, so introductions wise, we got David Hernandez, Zen Shorts. He's been really this crossover between Web3 and mainstream culture. He's a photographer himself, and shout out, he just got one of his works was featured on the album cover for West Side Gun and was published by Rock Nation. So big move on his part. And he's been in the space grinding, so it's cool to see that proliferate. We got Russ, who comes in. He's with Group of Vibes. He's been really traveling the world, exposing different cultures, different attitudes, different stories, and has created a really awesome community with the POV group. And as you mentioned, we're a collaborator on the Vibe Check Party. And then Justin Longshot from My Palette. He actually runs a open call platform. He runs an NFT digital art community. And we got to collaborate with him at the AI Film Tree Festival last week. And he just does a really good job of connecting with audiences and bringing folks into the sphere. So, I'm going to kind of just start off here with some questions. And maybe if Dave, will have you go first. If you just want to say like a quick hi, and just kind of maybe what inspired you to kind of start sharing, your content online, and what platform would you say kind of gave you your first sense of community? So we'll start that one with Dave and then move along.
Hey everybody, I'm chiming in from Harlem, New York City. Like Rob mentioned, thank you for the introduction. So I've been in the space for a crypto space. My first transaction was back in 2016, but event-wise since around 2020. And while that's been going on, I've also had like mainstream jobs and work. I've been working in legal cannabis for about a decade now. I've an advocate, a lobbyist, and all those kind of things. So I've been in these kind of disjointed worlds. And what the kind of through line for me has been my artwork, my photography. I do a lot of primarily analog photography. I shoot exclusively in film and instant films like Polaroids and FP100C. For me, in terms of where I first found community, I would say Instagram is where I first found community. I feel like for me, in recent time, I've moved away from Instagram as being my main source, but that's where I first started sharing my portrait work. I've actually really loved being part of Balanced Forces and what you guys have been doing, because I've been sharing my like landscape and like my more like lifestyle work, or like just instead of just my portraits. But really, when it comes for me, when I think about like where to find that community, it's one, kind of figuring out what you're comfortable sharing. Like I'm not a big fan of feeling like you have to give out your entire library to get seen, and just kind of just dripping and getting a cadence that fits for you. And then also realizing that the algorithm is very much, it's changing every day. And so instead of like marrying something that works for the algorithm, marry something that you're comfortable doing every day, or incorporating into your practice. Because if you're a slave to the algorithm, you're going to burn out. And so that's I'm started off there.
Perfect. Yeah, Russ, how about yourself? What first started inspiring you to start sharing content online? What platform kind of gave you your first sense of community?
I probably fall right in line and say what David said as far as Instagram. I think that's where I seen the most traction. For me as a content creator, it was very discouraging to put content out and not really received well, right? Like feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. And so I recently been on a journey. I'm here in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And I have, so long story short, I got a pair of Meta Ray-Ban glasses and I started shooting content on them out here. And for whatever reason, happenings, it blew up. And so like I've been averaging over like the last 3 months, like almost 2 million views a month, which isn't really crazy in Instagram terms. But in reality, what I've realized is like people are stopping me on the street and like, saying, hey, you're the guy from Instagram. So there was like a shift. And for me putting this content out, just me speaking into the etherverse and then like real world people, like saying, hey, how much I love your content and like connecting and deals coming out of it and opportunities being created, it was like an aha moment of just, it's like not very well edited, just me speaking, giving my commentary on the city and it doing numbers. Like the local news station even did a piece about me. And so like, I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Is I realized, what I want my career path as I've been traveling the world and studying research and development, I call it, is like being able to understand how these next major cities are going to be developed and whatnot. And so, long-winded way of saying Instagram was that first sense of community. And it's because I was able to get that real-time feedback of, comments, likes. Unfortunately, like it feeds dopamine, but it was showing that there was organic growth and there was something there happening, which then caused me to be more consistent. And that's where that growth really comes from, the consistency of things. And it's really hard to be consistent when you're not seeing results. And so, yeah.
Cool.
You're on mute, Rob, if you're trying to talk, bro.
Yeah, totally. Very profound things to say. Not that of importance. No, I was just saying it's really cool to see, kind of follow along through your point of view with the Meta Ray-Bans. But yeah, so then over to Justin Longshot. Yeah, how about yourself? Like, what sort of got you sharing online? What platform gave you personal to community?
Absolutely. Well, hello, everybody. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Rob and the Earth team for the invite today. I'm at work, so if you hear a little bit of background noise, I do apologize. So I've been in crypto, working in crypto for about 6 years now. To be honest with you, I probably found my first sense of community on Telegram, Discord back in like 2019, back in the DGen days. And they kind of drifted over to Twitter and to start posting online. So I mean, I've been doing like social media marketing stuff for about 5 years or so. So I mean, it started off as the need to do something in the middle of COVID, being laid off and things of this nature. And then just kind of got deeper into it, right? Fell into the ethos of the entire space and just kind of loved what I found, right? Fight the big power, fight the big banks. I love that kind of rebellious attitude. So me and my co-founder, right, in 2022, I think is when generative AI really started to hit the scene. We decided to make a Discord community of our own. We kind of always talked about it up through the years, and we've never really actually done it. So we did. And, over the course of the last 2.5 years, we've promoted artists. We had roughly about 9 members in the community today. We've done shows in the United States and Europe. Working on doing one in Africa right now with one of our Sheen members. Shout out Matt Golf. And yeah, man, I personally, like, as time has developed, I feel like I've continued to find a sense of community on Discord and Twitter. It feels more personable than social media platforms. But in the same regard, right, Twitter is the top of the funnel where you get that community, at least on my end, right? I try to focus on one platform. We do have presence on all, but it's it's difficult to be in all places at once. So I try to focus my my time and my energy where I can, where I know it works. But yeah, that would be my
Awesome. Thanks, Longshot. Yeah, so jumping into some of the nitty gritty, really want to try and focus on some like ways to kind of level up as we're invested on X, we're invested on Instagram. Some of us are jumping on the Farcaster. I'm wondering if there's any like strategies that or like underrated tactics or tools that have kind of helped grow your audience, whether it be like collaborations, spaces, threads, reels, frames, channels. Like there's so many different, but like I don't know, is there any like lane that you found it's going to help you get distribution for your content, from the stories, for the art that you're producing? Yeah, something that we might build a latch onto. And feel free to anyone jump in too. It's not one at a time.
I'll jump in. Oh, go for it, Longshot. Go for it.
Oh, cool. I was discussing it with JBR as something that that I've discovered, at least on a personal basis, right? There's somebody who's looking to grow their network. The term reply guy, I feel like a lot of people misinterpret that as somebody who just responds to people, who are responding to you on the timeline. But realistically, I spend about 30 minutes of my day in the morning replying to new accounts that I've never engaged with before. And I get, roughly about 100, maybe 200 replies out in that time. And in those replies that I do out, that I put out there, I get probably about a 10% return on follow backs and engagement on my posts. So honestly, just putting in the time and putting in the effort on these platforms is something that is highly overrated in my opinion.
Nice one. Yeah, thanks, Longshot. How about you, David?
I mean, I definitely want to agree, especially with like Farcaster and the more like new coming social platforms. Definitely trying to like being an intentional reply guy. It's not just like copying and pasting the same emojis and things like that, but like, engaging with content, kind of like speaking on what Russ was saying about like putting out content and not, feeling like it's being received or well received or really just getting any eyes. Posting on most crypto socials feels that way, especially when you're putting like your heart and soul into photos or content. And so the way you kind of find those people who care about your content is by also being a person who cares about content on that platform. And, it kind of like breeds just this like community of like reciprocity, and then that builds. But then also just building off of something Russ said too, I got myself a pair of Meta glasses, and I started like shooting, like I haven't posted as much as I've like shot with it, but like the content and the multimedia content I have put out with it, one gets heavily pushed by Instagram's or Meta's algorithm. You get like a special little emoticon on your stories, and then like it says made with Meta glasses when you post as well. So the algorithm really picks it up. Not saying you have to spend $500 to get an algorithm boost, but just thinking of like, I shoot analog photography and people only want to see still photos so much, so finding ways to kind of like, if you are a sculptor, find out ways you can digitize or at least like bring people along for the journey, whether it be a process video or, or something like that. Just be like, as someone who makes a more like, archaic or like analog medium, finding ways that people still appreciate it in the digital world is really like, I think been my, I guess how I've kind of cornered the analog photography market, at least like that I shoot. So
Nice. Nice one. Yeah, and just I saw a hand up. We'll have time for questions towards the end, and I'll let you know. Yeah, I guess following up, and this one's gonna be too towards Russ. We'd love to hear like what's been more effective for you, like polished posts or more like behind the scenes or in progress content.
For sure, behind the scenes, and that just falls in line with like knowing you as a person, and I'm very much that type of person. So whereas as of recently, the content I think that's doing the most is like organic, real talking head videos. Like people really love to see these real, organic, not postured, performative sort of just talking videos. Like it's something about being able to get someone's POV or just makes it more human. And I think as we step into the age of AI, this is one thing that AI will really never be able to fully replicate. And so there's a premium for real human, organic, sort of created user generated content. So I've noticed that. And just to touch on the last question a bit is that distribution wise, TikTok and Instagram shorts are still king. I really believe if you're not pushing out reels or Instagram or TikTok shorts, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're really doing yourself a disjustice. And so at the end of the day, I think you should be putting out content more than you consume it, or proportionally, like really think about the proportion in which you consume content and create it. And yeah, like if you're trying to grow your business, your project, whatever you're doing, you can't avoid not putting out content, right? Like that's something me and Rob have been learning over the last few weeks in this accelerator program we're in, is that we all are our own media companies and you need to act as such. And whether it be polished content or organic, non-edited, whatever it is, you need to be putting out content that resonates with you and that is consistent, good quality, and you enjoy making. So
Nice. No, that's super helpful, Russ. Yeah, I'll probably direct this one towards Longshot. Yeah, how have NFTs and like digital art collection like how has that changed the way that you think about your audience? Or maybe like how can a creator connect with collectors through say X, which I think, or Discord? Do you have any strategies or ideas or tactics around that for aspiring digital artists?
Yeah, I mean, overall, right, the NFT market has definitely kind of taken a downfall the past 12 months, I would say. And that's pretty obvious unless you're one of the top people in the space. But I still think that there are pretty interesting ways, that people can connect through some of these digital collectibles. Some of the things that I've personally seen artists do have just, used some of the ideas that people are playing on so heavily, right? Like permanence when you're talking about ordinance, right? Artist that comes to mind is Lemon A's. He just sold out a collection. It was north facing. I cannot remember the name of it, but essentially it played on the permanence that ordinals brings to the space, right? It is attached to the blockchain data that was actually being produced by Bitcoin, and once it reached a specific timestamp, depending on the ordinal event that you got, that piece actually died, right? So it was a different concept when you're talking about conceptual art and you're talking about ways to connect to collectors. And I think there's tons of interesting things that people can do, from regenerative work to, recursion on Bitcoin to, even burn and replays. I mean, there's tons and tons of mechanisms out there. The one thing I will say though, for a digital artist looking to get into the industry, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? There are so many things that you can get involved with in your local community and even in the digital space that might not be with NFT, that it's hard to just hinder yourself and shit yourself into that. And it's not like I don't believe in that technology, but it's very apparent to me in the broader world that there hasn't been a full use space found, right? We're still kind of in that discovery phase, and I think there will be one that comes along eventually. In my personal opinion, I think royalty is one of the biggest motivators for artists in the first place. Now with royalties being almost like an optional opinion for people, right? If the collector wants to pay it or not, due to the OpenSea backend change, it kind of took away one of the biggest things for artists to get involved with. But as mentioned, social media does open you up to a much broader audience than you probably would have any time before. And just getting involved with the NFT space does open you up to a community who's already in place, doing some of these things. So I would say just explore, right? Get out there, join some communities. I think illust has some great things going on. I know there's hundreds of other art communities that you guys can join, and just network, right? See what other people are doing. And I mean, eventually you'll be able to find your thing. But yeah, just being interesting, different, and unique is the thing that I've always seen to work out. And putting yourself out there. If you're not making posts, if you're not putting content out there, and you're upset that people aren't looking at your stuff, that's 100% on you, my friend.
Nice. Yeah, that's great advice, long shot. Dave, I feel like you've done a good job of being able to like transition between IRL and digital. How have you maybe translated like likes, replies, followers into like your community or even like collectors of your artwork?
Yeah, I would say for me, the journey around likes and like I guess engagement specifically on numbers is something that I've, it's like when people are like, oh, I don't look at it, like everyone looks at it, you know what I'm saying, whether you let it like impact you deeply or not. But for me, like I'll post something hoping for it to go viral, very, the similar piece of content on 8 different platforms. I'll even have a following on LinkedIn for like I guess my more professional career, and sometimes I drop photos there and just kind of see what works and what doesn't work certain places. So I don't really like pay attention too much on like the demographic or analytics. I really just lean into, is it the style of my own? Is it, unique to me? I shoot a lot of events, like I shoot these like wrestling events, like where the photo I had that ended up becoming 2 album covers, or the photos I had that became 2 album covers this week, that when I took that photo, there was probably 8 other or 9 other photographers taking that same exact shot, and so the ways, and there's multiple times where I'm in that spot and like you know, when you're shooting concerts, live events, those things, like really just thinking outside the box of like, cool, I might not have the $8,000 camera this person next to me has, but how do I make this my own? And you know, that's really what I come away with, that what I'm posting I'm proud of. When I'm posting, I know it's not an imitation of someone else's, and it's my own, you know. And so that's really what I lean into more so than the numbers. Like, is it nice to see, you know, how many monthly impressions you have and XYZ? Of course, that's always a nice like boost. Or if anyone's on Zora, you know, when you see your creator coin is worth thousands of dollars or whatever it may be, like I think those numbers are fun, but at this point in my career, I don't really let that motivate me to create more. If anything, I just really like to hone in on, you know, my craft, and just knowing that like it's an art practice. This isn't just content, you know. So this is something that I really like lean back on.
Nice. Yeah, I want to ask Russ a different question. How do you stay creative and consistent without feeling like you're just feeding the algorithm?
You said, how can you stay consistent and feel like you're not just feeding the algorithm?
Yeah, like how do you stay creative and but consistent with your content, but you do it in a very authentic way? So I'm just wondering, like, how do you keep that flair? And so does it feel redundant to you at times, or do you feel like, because I feel like each time I look at your posts or your content that's coming out, it's bringing in like a different style or a different narrative. So yeah, just like how do you keep going?
Yeah, great question. I think it just starts with knowing yourself. That's the first and foundational piece, right? It's very cliche, but you have to know why you want to put this content out, and that will dictate a lot of like how the pragmatic goes. And so for me, it's like I'm traveling and I want people to. Yeah, sorry, I'm on this call too. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask. My bad. I'm in this crypto meetup right now. But long story short, I think it's very important to understand yourself, know why you want to put the content out, and I just knew I'm trying to document the vibes, and so ultimately that's how I was able to dictate what type of content, how keep it fresh, is that I'm very clear about trying to find the best people, places, and things. And so my content looks different as I'm trying to, all right, my heart, I'll see you later, bro. Peace. As far as like trying to document the different people, places, and things. So I'm able to switch it up and just doing what I naturally feel comfortable doing and like doing. And it's luckily worked out for me. So I think it comes down to a couple of things, like being very clear about why you want to put this content out and who your audience is. And then like figuring out like trial and error and seeing, because you could be putting your heart, blood, sweat, and tears into a project and no one's really liking it. But honestly, you should probably stop. Like if you're not getting attraction, you've been doing it for a very long time, chances are it's not really adding value to the space or to your audience. So should try to find what is like a healthy balance between of what is easy and to naturally gravitate towards and what you're curious about, and adding value to your audience. So yeah.
Yeah, that's helpful, Russ. So I know we have folks that will have questions. So I want to kind of just ask you guys one final question here. I got a million of them, but we'll save it for another time. So we'll start with Longshot. If you could give AR creators one piece of advice to grow this year, AR creators or digital artists, what would it be?
Just one piece of advice, I would say.
You could do two if you want.
Yeah, honestly, I would say just start doing things. Right? You're never going to be as ready as you want to be, as you think you want to be. And if you don't start now, I mean, you're just going to keep putting it off until tomorrow, right? So that would be my first piece, is just start doing things. And then secondly, dedicate seriously 10 to 20 minutes a day. Start at 10 to 20 minutes a day. Just get out there and respond to people, genuinely respond to people that you don't already engage with, not your friends. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Get out there and engage with people that you don't already engage with and see what happens. 10 to 20 minutes a day. DM me if it doesn't work and yell at me. I promise you.
Nice, man. That's great. Yeah, Dave, how about yourself?
I would say the one piece of advice, I mean, we're all very early, you know what I'm saying? So like we're all onboarders. We're all people who have to kind of like shepherd the people who don't understand AR tech, digital collectibles, like all the things that we're talking about that is super heady on this call. That friend that will give you the 5 minutes, that friend that you're cool, like being a little uncomfortable around, or being the nerd around, or whatever, kind of like preconception you have. you kind of just have to take that leap because one, like, this is like you're essentially giving people Instagram in the early 2010s. You're giving people TikTok in 2019. Yes, this is essentially what you're putting people onto, and it didn't make sense then, but it makes sense now, and it makes sense to you. You just kind of have to be that onboarding friend, be that person to kind of educate, because that's how the community grows and how you really you have to onboard your audiences and the homies. So that's my piece of advice.
Nice. Thanks, Dave. Russ, piece of advice.
Just general advice or anything specifically in terms of like
Digital creators, artists, digital creators, AR creators, about how they can grow this year.
man, I would say the best advice I can give is like get around, like get an accelerator program or get in some sort of workshop or network, right? And like be around other people who are focused on growth. As I think it will help speed run your own growth. If you're around individuals who are constantly inspiring you and constantly motivating you and like pushing you to put out better and just overall grow, I think it benefits you in the best ways, right? I could tell you, like, honestly, the other best advice I could say, get obsessed about it. I think whatever your attention goes, like your energy flows. And so like whatever your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish and your own individual projects, like get obsessed about that shit. And like you'll start doing like unreasonable things. And once you start doing unreasonable things, you get like unfathomable results. And so, yeah, surround yourself with other people who are trying to head in a similar direction and like just get obsessed with your shit.
Love that, man. That's great. I really appreciate you guys' time. I want to open up for maybe five or so minutes of questions if you guys are still able to stick around. But yeah, if you want to throw a question, either raise your hand or throw it in the in-call messages, and I'll try and field it. But I know that I think it was Time had his hand up earlier. If you have anything you want to ask or comment on.
Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, I go by Time. It's a TYMED. That means teaching young minds every day. I was just definitely agreeing with a lot of things David Russ Long said, and just wanted to just commend them from doing everything they're doing, continually doing, especially even you, Rob. Because like I've been like following along, always try to participate from Vibe Code to Eat Denver to everything in general. But it's like in general, it's reality of attention, and this is like at the time of attention and how much you can extract from anybody or anything in order for you to be able to gain fame, the following that they're the outcome that we're looking for. And just saying all that, I'm just saying just like everybody else saying, just participate in general. If you're not participating, it's kind of hard to have an opinion. Like what I do in general is I try and tell people go vote. That's so you can have something you can say in the end of the day. Like you have a foundation you can stand on and say like, oh, this is what I did. And then everything goes from there. But it's great to see y'all, and definitely I'm in here, so definitely love to stay in contact with anybody and everybody that's on here.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Anyone else have any questions, comments, thoughts for the panelists? And if not, I got a couple last minute things. So cool. Well, hey, thank you so much for jumping in the chat, Dave, Russ, Longshot. Y'all are awesome. Go follow them. If I think you guys dropped your handles or whatnot in the chat. It's really cool to see. I think like again at the ground level, like I'm very bullish on this group of three here. So yeah, I think fundamentally we we all grow together when we're inspired by each other. So I want to kind of leave a couple last minute thoughts here. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And yeah, if you want to throw some virtual kudos.
I think Rob froze.
He's doing too many things at once.
Yeah, he's broken.
He overloaded. Oh,
Did
shout out
I-
to you, so. Oh yeah.
There he is.
Welcome
There you
back,
are.
Rob.
Oh shit! I fell into a wormhole.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I was just giving you guys thanks for your time. Very bullish on you guys, and with this last 5 minutes, I just want to add a couple like tactical things I want to share, and then also the homework for this week. So yeah, appreciate everything you guys have done. Yeah, this sort like AR social cheat sheet. I kind of wanted to put some like tactics in there because I know we're all creating digital experiences and we're also leveraging AR in the process. So a couple things was that AR, like creating content with AR and through AR, is kind of a loot box effect for the algorithm. Because oftentimes with the AR experience, you don't know what you're about to experience until you actually go through and see the whole video. So it almost kind of creates like a loot box style moment for the audience where there's some suspension of like, what is it that I'm going to see? What's around the corner? And AR is basically like a post-production house in the real world. So people would oftentimes pay money to comp a video with AR, but now using this in the feed in real time, you can kind of create these moments of suspense or belief. And the algorithm really likes that for promoting your artwork or your storytelling. We also like another just like little tactic is that the algorithms now are really focused on interests. So followers doesn't mean as much as it used to mean because the algorithm is they're gonna put your content in front of the people that they think are gonna want to see it most. So even if you have 30 followers, we saw this with TikTok early on. You might have 30 followers, but all of a sudden it blows up and gets 1 million views because it really connected with that audience. So if you are trying to market your artwork and trying to drive like a commercial transaction between, you know, what your art is or what your AR experience might be, we've found that we've tried out a bunch of different posts, and the post that gets the most organic reach, that's actually the one that you want to use to put money behind to say market your goods or services. So you can kind of use the algorithm as a way to A/B test without having to pay for any money. You can A/B test what kind of content works best, and then double down on that content through paid spends through like Meta or TikTok. And then just another little anecdote was that AR face effects still are one of the most viral media formats. In the beginning, when it was attached to the Meta algorithm, it was incredible. But even still, just creating AR face effects is still a fun way for people to engage with you. And people like to see a picture of themselves. So, giving folks an easy piece of content for them to create with also is a way to kind of build that relationship and build that audience. And it's fun. But that's just kind of a little anecdotally. I want to share that. But moving into session number 5, homework. So this time, we want to focus on community and starting to build buzz for what you're creating. So starting it off, we want to look at follow 30 artists, creators, or collectors that relate to your work or you're inspired by. And then, as Longshot had mentioned, just like try and be consistent every day to post, comment, repost from these creators in that time frame. And try and do that at least 10 times, just trying to create a habit for it. And that'll start kind of building that social currency. Another thing that we learned was that Twitter Spaces is a great way to get exposure. So challenge yourself to be active in at least one Twitter Space over the next 7 days. Look, I'm not gonna say social media. I'm trying my best. We can always try harder. So I'm actually doing this for myself so I could try and be more consistent in social media. So we're all kind of in this together. And for that reason, what I was thinking would be great is whatever you post or comment, share that in our school, in our community hub, because we have 113 now creators in the community hub who will probably reshare or repost or like what you post in there at some point in time. So we all kind of grow together through these technologies. So let's leverage, that to get our artwork out there. And yeah, and then last but not least, here's the QR code for the open call. We still have another 2 weeks until the close of the open call. So if you want to or submit your work for the Balance Forces AR exhibition, scan the QR code and you'll get access to the open call. But that's really the session today. I really appreciate all of your all's time. Again, special thanks to the guest panelists. And next week, we're going to be talking about ways to leverage AR for business partnerships. So it'll be more of like a workshop on pitching brands, pitching agencies, pitching galleries, and really trying to use AR as a medium to expand you as your own sole proprietorship or your own business. So yeah, thank you all so much for your time today. And as always, the world is yours. Take care, y'all.
Hey, thank you, Rob.
Guys.
Boom, ding, dong.